Hello everyone and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Curse of Oak Island finale recap. It's crown time as team get behind season 6. The Curse of Oak Island season 5 finale was a roller coaster of a ride, with some big disappointments, but also some eye-opening revelations. It certified one thing, that this has without doubt been the most fruitful season yet for the Oak Island team in terms of discoveries. And it pretty much sealed the deal on there being a season 6, which we previously already said was likely. Here's the 10 biggest things we learned in the Curse of Oak Island season 5 episode 16. Amazing discoveries. While the team had initially thought the gemstone found by Gary Drayton last episode could be a ruby, this wasn't the case. After taking it to a gemologist in Halifax, Gary revealed it was actually a rhodolite garnet, a semi-precious stone known for its rose pink to deep red coloring. Garnets have been used in jewelry for a long time, as far back as the pharaohs of Egypt. And while the fact it wasn't a ruby was disappointing, there was something very interesting about it. The gemologist also confirmed that this was an old stone from 400 to 500 years ago. That would mean it was from the 1500s to 1600s. Its age was identified by looking at two things. Firstly, the way it was cut. Gary said of the gemologist, in his opinion, it was a really old cut. These weren't machine-made, and these were done before the days when people thought about refraction and light going through the stones. Secondly, the brooch the stone was set in was made of a type of silver that has a high percentage of copper in it, 73%, a level apparently not used for many hundreds of years. Marty was eager to do more research on the stone and find out more about its origins. He said, "We got to figure out what it means and bring it to the next expert. I imagine 400 or 500 years ago, there might only be a certain amount of places where such a gem would come from, so that's great stuff." The next day saw diver Mike Huntley arrive to carry out his dive in the DMT shaft in a bid to find out what the obstruction was that the team hit earlier in the season, and which had been stopping them getting to what they believe could be the location of the chapel vault. In order to try and improve the visibility, the team had earlier put what's called flocculant into the water, which causes floating particles or small debris to clump together and settle at the bottom. However, this had a negative and unexpected result. Mike couldn't get to the bottom. Basically, because the flocculant had caused all the debris to accumulate at the lowest point of the shaft, it became too dense and he was too buoyant to sink through it. This meant he had to come up again and have 60 pounds of extra lead weights added to his suit. After returning to the water, he was finally able to get to the bottom, but couldn't see a thing. He then said he felt a hard obstruction and it's kind of wide like a plate, which got everyone very excited. He came up to the surface again with a few samples of what was at the bottom, but it was nothing of any substance and certainly nothing that would have stopped the 4-ton chisel bit which they earlier tried to break up the obstruction with. It was now time for a third dive to take down a pinpoint metal detector and find out once and for all if the obstruction was actually a steel or cast iron plate, as they believed. As Mike had spent too much time underwater already, backup diver Nick Perry was sent down instead. The metal detector picked up nothing. If the obstruction was made of metal, it would have vibrated, and it didn't. After receiving the bad news, Mike, monitoring the dive from the surface, told Nick to take his glove off and try to feel the obstruction with his bare hand. The result? It just feels roughish. It just feels like a hard granite rock. This was confirmed when Nick collected some bits from the bottom and put them in his glove to bring to the surface. He then laid them out on the top of a nearby casing top and, yep, they were definitely granite. Everyone was baffled as to why the caisson couldn't break through it, as that's what it was designed to do it, until Mike Jardine revealed that some granites are as hard as steel. With that, the team's drilling operations for the year were over. The next day, Rick met with the teams from Irving Equipment and Rock and with a heavy heart sent them home for the season. But he was still pretty sure the search in the money pit was not over yet, saying, "There is something down there." He's certainly not wrong. as why else would they have brought up pottery, bones, bookbinding, and parchment from the H shaft earlier in the season? But the team and fans are going to have to wait to find out more. Rick said he couldn't promise that Irving and Rock would be back next year, but he added, "We have every expectation to see you guys back here. We'll get to the bottom of this thing. It's not goodbye, it's we'll see you soon. To that end, we're not done." The question is, how are they going to get through that massive boulder? The final scenes of Season 5 showed the team gathered in the war room, along with Craig Tester via video link, with all the discoveries from Season 5 laid out on the table before them. Seeing all the discoveries together was impressive. From the pottery, bones, bookbinding, and parchment mentioned above, to the medieval lead cross and the rhodolite garnet brooch, as well as a ton of other stuff. There were a lot of items. Everyone in the room had their say as to what they believed were the most significant finds of the season, and it mainly came down to the lead cross, the bones, and the parchment. Rick, pointing to the bookbinding, said, "I have always said that what's here may be treasure or maybe manuscripts or books, ancient knowledge, something that is far more valuable than temporal wealth. And this substantiates that belief." But what did all the pieces mean? Rick said, "We certainly have a mosaic here and are yet to put it together. There's a lot of puzzle pieces. Mom would tell us, get your straight edges here, put your corner pieces here, put your colored pieces here, put your blue pieces here. And that's what we've got laid out before us, and we have yet to figure it out." They obviously need more time, but it was now the moment for a critical decision for the team. When they reach at the end of every season, should they continue the hunt, and if so, how? Dan Blankenship has spent more than half a century looking for treasure on Oak Island, but played devil's advocate when the team started discussing what to do next. The hunt is costing millions of dollars, but they are yet to find anything that would even come close to repaying it monetarily. Looking at the items laid out on the table, Dan's son Dave said, "There's a lot of stuff here that cost a lot of money to find. We're not getting our money back." When Marty asked Dan whether he thought they should quit or keep going, he said, "It's a hard question, Marty, it really is. It's a deep question, and it's hard." After a long pause, he added, "How deep are your pockets? It boils down to whether it's worth it." Marty replied, "That's the key question, Dan. How do you evaluate that, whether it's worth it? How do you evaluate that?"